He resorts to a secluded resting place, the forest, or the root of a tree, a mountain, etc. On returning from his alms round, after his meal he sits down, folding his legs crosswise, setting his body erect, and establishing mindfulness in front of him or before him. Abandoning covetousness for the world, he abides with the mind free from covetousness. He purifies his mind from covetousness. Abandoning ill will and hatred, he abides with the mind free from ill will, compassionate for the welfare of all living beings. He purifies his mind from ill will and hatred. Abandoning sloth and torpor, he abides free from sloth and torpor, percipient of light, mindful and fully aware. He purifies his mind from sloth and torpor. Abandoning restlessness and remorse, he abides unagitated with the mind inwardly peaceful. He purifies his mind from restlessness and remorse. Abandoning doubt, he abides having gone beyond doubt, unperplexed about wholesome states. He purifies his mind from doubt. Having abandoned these 5 hindrances, imperfections of the mind that weaken wisdom, he abides contemplating the body in the body, ardent, fully aware and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. He abides contemplating feelings in feelings, mind in mind, Dhamma in Dhamma, ardent, fully aware and mindful, having put away covetousness and grief for the world. Just as Agivesana, the elephant tamer, plants a large post in the earth and binds the forest elephant to it by the neck in order to subdue his forest habits, etc., and to inculcate in him habits congenial to human beings. So these 4 intense states of recollection are the bindings for the mind of the noble disciple in order to subdue his habits based on the household life, to subdue his memories and intentions based on the household life, to subdue his distress, fatigue and fever based on the household life, and in order that he may attain the true way and realize Nibbana. Let's stop here for a moment. So just like the forest elephant, after you bring him out of the forest, he is very agitated, he's very distressed. So you have to treat him in the right way, and then only he can get rid of this distress and fatigue and all that. So in the same way, as we read in some earlier sutta, when a monk practices mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of breathing, or any one of these meditations, basically is practicing the 4 intense states of recollection and the 4 satipatthana, which are useful to subdue the habits based on the household life, to subdue the memories and intentions based on the household life, to subdue the distress, fatigue and fever based on the household life, and in order to attain the true way and realize Nibbana. So here you see, after he gets rid of the 5 hindrances, then he practices this satipatthana. Then the Tathagata disciplines him further. Come monk, abide contemplating the body in the body, but do not think thoughts connected with the body. Abide contemplating feelings in feelings, but do not think thoughts connected with feelings. Abide contemplating mind in mind, but do not think thoughts connected with the mind. Abide contemplating Dhamma in Dhamma, but do not think thoughts connected with Dhamma. With the stilling of applied and sustained thought, he enters upon and abides in the 2nd jhana, the 3rd jhana, the 4th jhana. And when his concentrated mind is thus purified, then he practices the abhinyas, the 3 abhinyas, namely the recollection of his past lives, then seeing beings passing away and being reborn according to karma vipaka. And then the 3rd one is contemplating the Dhamma, so that he attains destruction of the asavas, destruction of the taints. And he understands birth is destroyed, the holy life has been lived, what had to be done has been done. There is no more coming to any state of being. Now, this last part, I'd like you to note, this is a very important part. Normally, when the Buddha talks about a monk, after he gets rid of the 5 hindrances, he will attain the 1st jhana, followed by the 2nd jhana, followed by the 3rd jhana, followed by the 4th jhana. So here you find the description of the first jhana is not here. Instead, you have the second jhana, the third jhana, and the fourth jhana. This means that the practice of satipatthana, which is mentioned here, is equivalent to the first jhana. As mentioned in the Satipatthana Samyutta, it is said that if a skillful monk practices satipatthana, his mind must become concentrated. In other words, if a monk practices satipatthana skillfully in the right way, he must end up with the first jhana. Only a person practicing satipatthana in a skillful way, in a wrong way, he cannot attain the first jhana. So here is very obvious. Practicing satipatthana brings one into the first jhana. And from the first jhana, it continues into the second jhana, third jhana, and fourth jhana. So it's very clear, satipatthana has everything to do with jhana. Not like some monks, vipassana monks say that satipatthana has nothing to do with the jhanas. So you see the standard footprints of the Buddha, as is mentioned before, is the 4 jhanas followed by the 3 abhinyas. That is the bodhisattva path. That monk is able to endure cold and heat, hunger and thirst, and contact with gadflies, mosquitoes, wind, sun, and creeping things. He is able to endure ill-spoken, unwelcome words and arisen bodily feelings that are painful, racking, sharp, piercing, disagreeable, distressing, and menacing to life. Being rid of all lust, hate, and delusion, purged of laws, he is worthy of gifts, worthy of hospitality, worthy of offerings, worthy of reverential salutations, and unsurpassed field of merit for the world. Now, stop here for a moment. So here you see, after the monk has attained arahanthood, liberation, destruction of the taints, then the Buddha says he has got rid of all the flaws, purge of all the flaws. So he's just like the king's elephant, the well-trained and tamed king's elephant. He can endure blows from the spears, loud sounds and being stabbed with a knife and all these things. It says blows from spears, blows from swords, blows from arrows, blows from other beings, and the thundering sound of drums, kettle drums, trumpets and tom-toms. Being rid of all faults and defects, purge of laws, is worthy of the king. In the king's service, considered one of the factors of the king. So in the same way, the Buddha says when a monk has attained arahanthood, has completed his full training, then he is able to endure all these hardships, cold and heat, hunger and thirst, contact with gadflies, mosquitoes, ill-spoken words, feelings that are painful, disagreeable, menacing to life. Just like the king's elephant, well-trained and well-tamed, there's nothing he cannot withstand. If Agivesana, the king's elephant, dies in old age, untamed and undisciplined, then he is considered an old elephant that has died an untamed death. If the king's elephant dies when middle-aged, untamed and undisciplined, then he is considered a middle-aged elephant that has died an untamed death. If the king's elephant dies when young, untamed and undisciplined, then he is considered a young elephant that has died an untamed death. So too Agivesana. If an elder monk, this is a Thera, dies with his stains undestroyed, then he is considered an elder monk who has died an untamed death. If a monk of middle status, Majjhima Bhikkhu, dies with his stains undestroyed, then he is considered a monk of middle status who has died an untamed death. If a newly ordained monk, Navaka Bhikkhu, dies with his stains undestroyed, then he is considered a newly ordained monk who has died an untamed death. If Agivesana, the king's elephant, dies in old age, well-tamed and well-disciplined, then he is considered an old elephant that has died a tamed death. If the king's elephant dies when middle-aged, well-tamed and well-disciplined, then he is considered a middle-aged elephant that has died a tamed death. If the king's elephant dies when young, well tamed and well disciplined, then he is considered a young elephant that has died a tame death. So too Agivesana, if an elder monk dies with his stains destroyed, then he is considered an elder monk who has died a tame death. If a monk of middle status dies with his stains destroyed, then he is considered a monk of middle status who has died a tame death. If a newly ordained monk dies with his stains destroyed, then he is considered a newly ordained monk who has died a tame death. That is what the Blessed One said. The novice Achiravata was satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. So you see why I like this sutta so much. The simile is so nice about the elephant, the taming of an elephant, the training of an elephant, just like a monk. And also the conduct or the taming of the monk is listed out here, although it is not complete, as I mentioned before. But most of the training are shown here. The first one not shown here is this contentment. Moral conduct is there, contentment is not there. Guarding the door of the sense faculties is there, moderation in eating, devoted to wakefulness, mindfulness and full awareness. What is not here is the seven good qualities, seven sab-dhamma. So okay, we can stop here for now and invite comments or questions. One thing, since you have nothing to ask yet, I can mention something. You find a monk who takes the trouble to train in the way the Buddha has taught, especially a monk who goes to live in the forest, in a secluded area, and begs for his food, and undergoes some hardships, especially physical hardships. Then you find, as the years go by, then he's more and more disciplined, more and more well trained, more and more well tamed. Whereas you find those that don't go through this process of training or taming, you find their minds are very agitated. Just like we had this Samanera who disrobed. He was so agitated, small things he could not stand. To him was a big thing, but to somebody else it's just a small thing. So the fault is not outside, the fault is inside. The problem is inside. As the Buddha says, all fears arise in the fool, not in the wise man. So a lot of problems arise in the fool because it's inside. So the training is inside basically. So if we take the trouble to train slowly, we go through the grind. We polish ourselves inside.
I think about this, the question asked is what about some of our city monks who are also considered well practiced? Is that they cannot go through institutions? Would they be able to attain the
In what sense are they well practiced?
The Dhamma, the institutions.
It depends whether they really practice or not. Firstly, if a monk wants to practice, the city life is not conducive. The Buddha has said in the earlier sutta we read, a monk who associates with others, who delights in company, who delights in society, not possible for him to attain anything. It's only a monk who either who lives alone or who is aloof. I've heard like in Thailand, there are certain monasteries, they might be town monasteries, but not city, town monasteries, sometimes some small towns. You might have maybe a dozen monks. Out of the dozen monks, you might find one who keeps to himself, who's aloof from others. That is a practicing monk. Restlessness is one of the factors, and really restlessness is only destroyed by the Arahant. So restlessness comes about now because we still feel we want to do something. I don't know whether you noticed the other day I mentioned that this word sankhara, volition, I say can in a way can be considered the creator in the world, because from volition, because we want to do something that makes the chain of events start now. So somebody who is especially attached to the world, there are many things you want to do, many ambitions. That's why in the suttas the Buddha said there are some beings, in fact most beings, we die with a lot of ambitions unfulfilled. There are still a lot of things we want to do. So this volition, this restlessness comes from this volition. We still want to do something. So this restlessness and remorse as a hindrance, when we meditate and go into our mind, then we find the calm and peace is so blissful, so delightful, that we want to go more into our mind. When we can attain the abandonment of the hindrances, so we still have restlessness, but it's no more a hindrance. It is still a factor. We still have the factor of restlessness. But it's not a hindrance in the sense that it does not obstruct us so much as to cause us not to see things clearly. So only when we achieve the jhanas and we find the peace and happiness within, that we slowly let go of the world. We want to meditate more if we can. Only thing sometimes out of obligations, out of sense of duty or something, people sometimes want to do this and do that. But otherwise, that person will want to spend his time inside. In which case, that restlessness is even further weakened further. So it has to do with the volition. This restlessness have to do with wanting to do this, do that. That's why sometimes a monk wants to do too much. It's a hindrance. It's a hindrance. But sometimes, like the Buddha says, it's also a duty for a monk who knows the Dhamma and the Vinaya to teach. If a monk who knows the Dhamma Vinaya were to just bliss out every day and refuse to teach, then the sasana, the Buddhist religion would not last. In the Vinaya books, somebody asked the Buddha, are all the Buddhas the same? Then the Buddha said, no, not all some Buddhas are the same. Even though they teach the Dhamma Vinaya, some teach more Dhamma and more Vinaya. Then the sasana lasts longer. Some teach less Dhamma and less Vinaya. The sasana does not last so long. Also, the Buddha said, after he has entered Nibbana, then he depends on later monks to continue the Dhamma Vinaya. So if later monks don't want to do the work of teaching, then the Buddhist religion will be shortened. So now that the Buddha is no more with us, it is the duty of monks who know the Dhamma Vinaya to teach. But of course, if they really understand the Dhamma, they also want to practice. So you got to sometimes compromise.
And the cost of relationship is also due to the law. Example, not only the things that are not people that you know. Example, if you have not been able to
Yes. The restlessness can also be due to sila, doing what should not have been done, what is unwholesome. Doing what is unwholesome is also contributes to this restlessness as a hindrance, or not doing your duty, neglecting to do what should be done. That also, just like in one sutta, somebody asked the Buddha why some people are born in the woeful plains or something like that, and the Buddha says due to commission and omission. Commission, doing something and not doing something. Those people who go to the woeful plains, they do evil deeds, and they neglect to do wholesome deeds, like duties to the family and all that. And people go to heaven also because of commission and omission. People go to heaven because of having done good deeds, skillful deeds, like keeping the precepts, and omitting to do unskillful deeds, unwholesome karma. So that contributes also to restlessness.
the other thing that I believe for beauty and research, for example, we have people of different nationalities, for our communication more ability to cycle and to forget that we don't know that the two cycle we can't control, that we don't actually that we can't control our method to expect that we don't know that compared to holding the grass for a long time. This is more dangerous to the population.
The more dangerous one is to keep the grudge. There's a very beautiful sutta by the Buddha in the Anguttara Nikaya, where the Buddha talked about the snake that is fierce and venomous. Then there's another snake that is fierce but not venomous, not poisonous. Fierce but not poisonous. And there's another type of snake which is not fierce but poisonous, venomous. And then the fourth type is not fierce and not venomous. So similarly, human beings are also just like these four types of snakes. The first one that is fierce and venomous are those that flare up easily, the temper flares up easily. But if it's venomous, that means the hatred, the anger keeps inside them long. That's very bad. Fierce and blows up easily and also full of hatred inside for a long time. Then the second one, fierce but not venomous. That means he blows up easily, loses his temper easily, but does not keep inside. It's a more harmless person. And then the third time, he is not fierce but venomous. This type of person is dangerous in the sense that they don't blow up, but they keep inside. So they get angry, so you don't know. But he got a grudge against you, you don't know. He keep it inside his heart. And the last one is not fierce and not venomous. He doesn't blow his top easily, and he does not keep a grudge inside him. That's the best. So I think the best is a person who has no anger and does not keep inside his heart. The second best, I think, is a person who blows up easily, but does not keep the grudge inside of him. The worst is the one who gets angry, blows up very fast, as well as keep the grudge. This keeping the grudge inside is not so much harmful to others as to harm that person himself. Person, he keeps the grudge inside, the anger and the hatred inside. It's a poison. It's a poison. So it can make him become deranged. I don't know whether you all notice all these people in the mental asylum, Tanjung Rambutan, all have bad temper. All have bad temper. Okay. Shall we end here?